from Babylonia to Allah. Etymology is not Allah. The entry for Babylon on Britannica 2012 says Babylonian Bab Ilu or Babylonian Bab Ilim, Hebrew Bavel or Babel. Sheikh Anta Diop said that all the elements necessary to the birth of Islam were thus present more than 1,000 years before the birth of Muhammad, and Islam appears as a purging of Babylonian Sabaism by God's messenger. And we have seen previously that Babylon comes from the Babylonian Bab Ilu. Lenormand wrote about the Sabaean religion. For those who don't know, that's South Arabia. It says, this religion came out of that of Babylon and the Euphrates basin. Until the predication of Islamism, it remained fundamentally the same. We find there indeed most of the same divine characters, with their names conserved without alteration, because it is impossible to not recognize the Chaldo-Assyrians Ilu, Bel, Samas, Istar, Sin, Samdan, Nisroch, in the gods of Yemen, Il, Bil, Shams, Hathor, Sin, Simdan, Nasser. So we have the Chaldo-Assyrian Ilu, and earlier we have seen that Babylon comes from the Babylonian Bab Ilu. Next slide. The online etymology dictionary for the entry Babylon. It says mid-14th century, from Greek version of Akkadian, Bab Ilani, the gate of the gods. From Bab, meaning gate, plus Ilani, plural of Ilu, God. So, just for the record, in the Arabic language, the word Bab primarily means door, but it can also mean gate. And you don't have to believe me. Go to an Arabic speaker and ask him, what does Bab mean? Allah is a combination of the definite article al plus ilah, which is the word for God. And we see on the etymology that for Babylon we have Bab Ilani. Okay? Samuel M. Zwemer wrote, in pre-Islamic literature, Ilah is used for any god, and Al-Ilah contracted to Allah. Now, on Britannica, we are told about Arabian religion, pre-Islamic deities, South Arabia. As head of the South Arabian pantheon, Athar had superseded the ancient supreme Semitic god Il or El. Next to Athar, who was worshipped through South Arabia, each kingdom had its own national god, of whom the nation called itself the progeny. In Sabah, the national god was Al-Makah or Il-Muka. Some of you might know about Al-Makah. I'm not going to dwell on that. We deal with that another time. Lenormand finally says, the cult of Il, and we know that Il is the same as El, E-L. That is to say, the divinity conceived in the manner highest, the most comprehensible, the most tending towards to monotheism, had an extension that the cult of Ilu never had in Babylon or in Chaldea, particularly under the nickname of Il-Makah, the god that grants. It was the god whose cult was the largest in general, the one that had temples in most places, to whom was devoted the main sanctuary in Mariab, the capital. It was, in one word, the national god by excellence. Even though he later on writes that in an inscription in the Britannic Museum, Il-Makah of Haran and Il-Makah of Xamam are invoked as two different deities, but that's just for the record. So this is the last slide. We've seen how we go from Babylonian Bab Ilu, to Ilah, because it's the same so-called Semitic, because we know the Semite is a 18th century creation. Okay, you need to go back to my videos. That term was coined in the 18th century. So we have Sheikh Anta Diop, who tells us that Islam appears as a purging of Babylonian Sabaism. We have Lenormand, who says that the Sabaean religion came out of that of Babylon. Basically, it came out of Babylon. We have Samuel Zoomer, who told us that Allah is a contraction of Al, the definite article Al, and Ilah. Okay, so we have Il again, just like El, just like when he told us earlier about CF Babel, you know, the Tower of Babel. You have Bab and El, El, the same El, which is a Semitic or so-called Semitic deity. For example, Elijah, and you have so many other names. It always goes to the same people. But there's a note in the bottom. In the Quran there's 3 mentions of Sabians, but it is said that they are not Sabaeans, you know. Then it's subjected to people's interpretation, because some people are glad to use people when there's historical records, but sometimes when it doesn't really suit their theology, then they want to say no, it's not the same people. But that's said for the record. But finally, I'm going to read this quote from Britannica 2012 about Babylonia. It says, ancient cultural region occupying southern Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, modern southern Iraq from around Baghdad to the Persian Gulf. Because the city of Babylon was the capital of this area for so many centuries, the term Babylonia has come to refer to the entire culture of that developed the entire culture that developed in the area from the time it was first settled, around 4000 BC. Before Babylon's rise to political prominence, circa 1850 BC. However, the area was divided into 2 countries, Sumer in the southeast and Akkad in the northwest, which leads us to my video, Black Semites, and the other video, White Semite, Black Awakening. We are dealing with Sumeria, the Sumerians, and the Akkadians, of whom I have showed many and hopefully enough depiction, artifacts, original documents in terms of their depiction, therefore their phenotype, how they look like, their physical appearance. And even though it has confused many people and even made some angry at me, notably a weed-smoking god who has made 3 videos about me and eventually removed them in the tradition of the back down Arm Lega Lega Arm Ahead brothers who are disrespectful. I don't think all the Arm Lega Lega Arm Ahead brothers are disrespectful, but many of them are. And but anyway, yes, for the record, he's removed these videos, but many people are angry. But once again, I don't argue, I state facts. If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. If you teach that black means death and Africans are living a jungle life, you are part of the problem. My name is Shaka Ndugu Kemet. My website is afrostudy.com/English. That's www.afrostyle.com/English. My main YouTube account in one word is Egypt Decoded. Add this video to your favorite, share this video, like this video, share it on all social networks. It's all good to leave a comments, but it's best to share because sharing is caring.